Hey y'all, welcome back. Today we're checking out the evolution of The Cure, from goth to pop and back again.
All the songs, are they autobiographic?
What a somber bunch. They look so sad. What is happening here? What trauma have they been through? What's wrong, guys? Guys, perk up. What's wrong? It's the 80s. What are you sad about? Did the mines close?
Are they autobiographic?
Lyrically, yeah, most of it's from direct experience. Some of it is, some of it isn't. Obviously the ones where I drown aren't from direct experience.
The Cure are weird. In fact, that's part of their appeal. They are outsiders, the forgotten and the lost.
They're sad.
And so invite that subsection of society. But what makes the band especially weird is that there's many different shades of Cure. The muted greys of 17 Seconds, the candy floss pinks of Japanese Whispers, through to the deep, pained purples of Disintegration. To quote The Cure's frontman Robert Smith, the music's always reflected to a very large degree how I am mentally. They are the only band, Smith also notes, that are routinely perceived as both suicidal and whimsical. All through the 80s, clad in black, smudged with crimson lipstick, they unleashed super sweet pop, dour goth, and everything in between. Loved by both their cult-like fanbase and the music-listening public at large. They played by their own rules. But how did The Cure morph from suicidal oddities to whimsical new wavers and back again? Within a decade.
Huh. Wow, yeah. How'd they do that? I don't know a lot about The Cure. When I think about songs by The Cure, the only one that comes to mind is the, I don't know what it's called, but Friday I'm in Love, is that what it's called? Which is pretty poppy. Show me on Apple Music. It is a great band name. Let's just see what their top songs are. Just Like Heaven. Sounds really good. Love Song. Oh yeah! Okay, yeah. Love Song. That's a hit, right? Be sure to go to Trash Theory and like and subscribe. I love their documentaries if you didn't know already. I love them. They actually have 2 videos about The Cure. This is the first one. And then the second one, I'll do second. I remember in the 80s, I was alive in the 80s, y'all. I was there. I remember in the 80s being a little bit kind of afraid of The Cure. Is the hair and the makeup that, made me... I didn't identify with. I was a child. I was a small child. I was also terrified of the band Kiss. Terrifying. Satan. Anyway, 1980 from Goth. Let's check it out.
The Cure entered the 80s not the darkness peddlers of legend, but as a band in love with the pop-infected punk of Buzzcocks or Elvis Costello.
Wow. Wow. That's kind of heavy. I love the guitar tones. I love the bass tone. His voice sounds good. He's got rototoms. Y'all, rototoms are an underused tom.
The early singles and first album, Free Imaginary Boys, gained them buzz, but little else. Released in 1980, their second album, 17 Seconds, and specifically single A Forest, would be where The Cure moved towards a darker direction. From a position of hindsight, the album's inspiration seems to be the sparser, more atmospheric side of post-punk, of Wire and Joy Division. But Smith spent the composition of the album listening and shaping it through the additional influence of Nick Drake's 5 Leaves Left, Jimi Hendrix's live album Isle of Wight, Astral Weeks by Van Morrison, and most of all, David Bowie's Low.
Those are some very different influences, aren't they?
As a song, A Forest is not built around a hook or a chorus, but an overarching mood, that of isolation and loneliness.
I've rarely seen his face without the makeup. He looks like a normal dude. It's like my neighbor.
Chorus, but an overarching mood, that of isolation and loneliness.
Lost in a forest, all alone.
instrumentation of the track consists of ample use of flange guitar with relay added for a minimalist yet expansive sound.
Relay? What's relay?
Synth washes sit on the track like rising mist. Lol Torhurst's drums sound hauntingly flat and breathless. Simon Gaddup's ominous bass line stalks the track. Smith noted in 2004, "With A Forest I wanted to do something that was really atmospheric and it had a fantastic sound." Label owner Chris Parry said, "If you make this sound radio friendly, you've got a big hit on your hands." I said, "But this is how it sounds. It's the sound I've got in my head.
Nice.
It doesn't matter whether it's radio friendly."
He's going for the long game. Legacy. Nice.
Of the band's limited 7 days in the studio, a whole day was spent mixing A Forest. Such was Smith's devotion to the track.
Y'all, 7 days to make an album. Wow.
His faith was rewarded as the song was their debut entry in the UK singles chart, reaching number 31 and allowing them to appear on Top of the Pops.
Hey!
The studio version of the track is now somewhat overpowered by denser, more epic live versions, such as the one present on concert, The Cure Live, or their overextended 11-minute rendition at Rock Wurcher, known by most as the Fuck Robert Palmer mix.
I hope you like the rest of it. Fuck Robert Palmer, fuck rock and roll.
Despite their hatred for critical labelling, A Forest was the first moment The Cure could be called goth. And
Wow. What's wrong with Robert Palmer? I have to hear this song. A Forest. Is that in their top songs? It is. Let me just hear it for a second. Whoa. I hear the Joy Division influence for sure. The drums sound electronic to me. I wonder if they actually used real drums.
Fuck Robert Palmer, fuck rock and roll.
What's wrong with
despite
Robert
their
Palmer?
hatred for critical labelling, A Forest was the first moment The Cure could be called goth.
Huh.
And the band would get darker with their next two releases.
Oh, okay. So that was their descent into goth. Darkness. And this is to pop.
In 1982, The Cure released Pornography. If The Cure's more goth music is considered suicidal, then Pornography is inches from the endless abyss of oblivion, both sonically and literally for the band themselves. Its cacophonous drumming and icy synth work combined to create some of the most viscerally unsettling music of their career.
Really? Oh.
NME dubbed it Phil Spector.
Yep. Phil Spector. Oh, that's clever. That's funny. It is dark. I hear some dissonant chords. And of course the subject matter. It doesn't matter if we all die. Wow. Yeah.
NME dubbed it Phil Spector in Hell. They had cemented their reputation for being a doomy, gloomy, dismal kind of band, and it had drained Smith. When we came to do Pornography, I really thought that was it for the group. I wanted to make the ultimate fuck off record. Then The Cure would stop.
So he wanted to sabotage. He's a contrarian. So anything he's done, he wants to rebel against it. Even if he was, before he was rebelling, now he wants to rebel against that rebellion. He's a constant rebel.
I really thought that was it for the group. I wanted to make the ultimate fuck off record. Then The Cure would stop. After taking too many drugs in the assumed last Cure tour, bassist Gaddup departed, and Smith returned to a month-long detox and wrote the pop-leaning Let's Go to Bed.
Very pop.
Depending on
Wow.
which interview with Smith you want to believe, the song was either a musical experiment, a label-enforced hit attempt, or based on more recent interviews, a conscious decision to go against the all-consuming goth rock or Pornography. The only way I could get Cure music played on the radio was to make something that was radio-friendly. So Let's Go to Bed was entirely designed to do that. It was the only time we've ever done it, to get us played on the radio, particularly in America,
Wow.
and it worked. The original demo, dubbed Temptation 2, doesn't sound too dissimilar to what the band had made on Pornography. Thickly rhythmic with a synth topping, the bass line and percussion seeming like a faster She's Lost Control by Joy Division. In its fully realised form, Let's Go to Bed's funky synth pop and all too blunt satirical lyrics seemed aimed at sending up Duran Duran. When asked about his greatest musical nemesis in 2017, Smith stated, "It was generally Duran Duran, which is really sad because they loved us and they used to come to our shows. But they represented everything we hated. The whole glamorous 80s, consumer bullshit. This horror show that we are up against."
But then they wanted to do it. Then they wanted to get on the radio. Robert Smith is a complicated dude. You know, he has one of those voices that was really popular at the time. Robert Smith, the Dexys Midnight Runners guy. They all have this kind of voice. You know what I mean? That was popular.
They used to come to our shows, but they represented everything we hated. The whole glamorous 80s, consumer bullshit. This horror show that we are up against. Musically, Let's Go to Bed may not be The Cure's best work, and chart-wise it only reached number 44 in the UK. But its video featuring the band, now a two-piece, dancing about like a drunken Tears for Fears, and their willingness to experiment with the poppier new wave side of music would serve them well for the rest of the decade. Two other pop-focused tracks followed in 1983, The New Order indebted The Walk, and the Aristocats Jazz of The Love Cats, all later released as the Japanese Whispers compilation. This new wave direction would make them progressively bigger worldwide. Each new single would be paired with a Tim Pope directed promotional clip, which in turn would be broadcast on MTV and increase the band's profile, especially in the States. The next few years would produce an enviable collection of singles: In Between Days, Close to Me, a re-release of Boys Don't Cry, Why Can't I Be You, and finally, their biggest hit thus far, Just Like Heaven.
Let's hear Just Like Heaven. Where is it? Oh, it's their top song. I really like his singing on that one. It's vibrant. He actually sounds kind of happy. Okay.
By 1989, Smith had grown bored with the pop-centric new wave that his band had been producing, and had retched up some more dark feelings to put to music. His main concern was that he had yet to make his masterpiece, and that all the bands he loved, respected, and was influenced by had created theirs before they turned 30, before their inevitable decline took hold. In Smith's opinion, Bowie's work fizzled out after Low, released in his 30th year. Buzzcocks' Pete Shelley was 23 when he released Ever Fallen in Love, while Joy Division's Ian Curtis would be dead by then, leaving behind both Unknown Pleasures and Closer. There was a definite fear for Smith, and this milestone was quickly approaching. So in 1988, on his 29th birthday, he began writing what would become The Cure's defining statement, Disintegration.
Disintegration is what the next Trash Theory video about The Cure is about. So I bet we'll go deeper into that with that other video. Leading up to turning 30, I remember thinking, it's just a number, I don't care, it doesn't matter. But then when I actually turned 30, it kind of messed with my head a bit, because now I'm 30. I'm no longer in my 20s. What have I done with my life? It's a strange thing. It messes with you. So I get that. I get it. And there is something about music. When a band is in their 20s or writers are in their 20s, there is something different. I think the brain is still developing. By the time you turn 30, society's rules start to box you in a bit more. And you know, there's a balance between wisdom and ignorance that changes your artistic output. A lot of musical artists, it seems like the spark is no longer there, or they become irrelevant. I'm not sure what that is. Something, though. You know, the brain keeps developing until you're something like 26, is that right? So, before 26, the plasticity of your brain is just going in all different kinds of directions, and then by the time you're 30, you've had 4 years of this grown brain, and then the plasticity starts to reduce and you become more rigid. The synapses aren't making new connections as easily. I think maybe something about that. Anyway, what happened?
Writing what would become the Cure's defining statement, disintegration. Quizzed about its meaning, Smith stated about the album's title.
And it's just about the sense of falling apart that I can't ever seem to shake off. That I think it's true for everyone, really.
What is his morning hair routine, y'all?
I just wanted the group, if we were going to do something else after the Kiss Me album, I knew that I wanted us to do something that had a bit of intensity to it, so that I could spend some time getting back into the things that we used to do a few years ago. A bit more bite to them rather than just sort of pop stuff.
By 1989, the band's lineup bore only one similarity to the band that released Three Imaginary Boys a decade previous, Smith himself.
Really?
Years since Let's Go to Bed had expanded the band from duo to five-piece. But the making of Disintegration forced Smith to finally give up on the one remaining link from their debut lineup. Former drummer, now keyboardist, Lowell Tolhurst.
So Paul has
What?
to dedicate his keyboard parts to Lowell, and Lowell can't play keyboards.
Is there a danger of like the Cure becoming a super keyboard group?
What, with Lowell playing keyboards? You can't be joking. I think that he gives heart to everyone who can't play an instrument, that they can still be in a group.
His alcohol
Oh, that's funny. So the drummer became the keyboard player, but he couldn't really play keyboards. That'll give you a sound.
His alcoholism and apparent disinterest in learning and improving at his instrument had made the rest of the band hostile towards him, and his place was filled with touring keyboardist Roger O'Donnell. After 6 years of preferring the sunnier side of the pop music spectrum, Robert Smith decided to go back to where he was at the beginning of the decade. Disintegration is soaked in towering slabs of keyboards and monumental percussion. The chord progressions are affecting in how gradual they are. The whole album is a mood of its own, of dread, despair, hopelessness, and nightmarish panic, bringing together all the emotions present on 17 Seconds.
I'm sorry, just the thought, the shot of him laying in bed.
Panic, bringing together all.
There's something really funny about that. 'Cause he can't even get out of bed. He's so depressed. But he still has the energy to do his hair and his makeup. Priorities.
All the emotions present on 17 Seconds, faith, and pornography, and fusing them into something new and interesting. While the 4 singles all did very well, with Love Song and Lullaby showing that darkly infused pop songs can still be big hits, the album's title track is the most essential moment. The lyrics for Disintegration were the first written for the album around the time of Smith's 29th birthday. In line with the Cure's tradition for thesis-expanding epic titular tracks, it is 8 minutes plus of slow-burning alienation mixed with references to addiction, fame, and infidelity.
8 minutes.
If there was a song that could be interpreted as a kiss-off to his fans, this was it. Some of the final lyrics are:
Stains on the carpet, stains on the scenery. Sounds like happiness, nothing dreams, every focus new. The ending would be.
Graham Thompson in 2018 described it thusly. Smith's voice moves from calm tenor to dislocated howl as he unleashes the most intense, involved lyric on an LP that often lets the music do the talking. It is not just the end of a relationship, it sounds like the end of everything. Critically and commercially, Disintegration is the Cure's greatest achievement. It sold 3 million records worldwide, and the resulting tour saw them selling out stadia internationally.
Wow. 1990 onward, the end. I didn't know there were so many band members. I didn't know he's the only original band member. I just want to hear a little bit of Disintegration. It's their #1 essential album. They kept a consistent guitar sound, didn't they? The flangey thing.
With the 80s ending, the Cure again morphed. Now that all the
Smart.
darkness had been excised from Smith, he was free to write songs that expressed happiness again.
Oh.
1992's Wish features one of their biggest hits, and their most lacking in irony or edge. Friday, I'm in Love. The cycle repeated. Wild Mood Swings was akin to Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me's genre mashup, before 2000's Bloodflowers finished the Gothic trilogy alongside Pornography and Disintegration. This chameleon-like tendency, this constant state of musical flux, is what makes them the iconic band that they are. One thing that always stays the same: with every album, Smith foretells the end of The Cure, always conscious that all things must, at some point, end. Pornography was supposed to be the end. Then, on Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me's promotion, he knew that The Cure would be winding down soon.
We'll never go back there. I'll never go back and play a concert in America again.
Can I quote you on that?
Yeah.
The Disintegration tour again was supposed to be the end of the group, but this has never come to pass. The Cure are still touring, still killing it.
What do you know?
Festivals booked for this summer, and if you miss them, they'll probably be there for many summers to come. They are not dead. Love and great music are supposed to be fleeting, and Smith has constantly gone against that. He's been madly in love with his wife since the age of 14, and The Cure, despite what Robert Smith will say, will last forever. This video is sponsored by Skillshare.
Great.
Skillshare is an online...
Y'all be sure to go to Skillshare and build a website.
Thank you for watching. What's your favourite phase of The Cure? If you liked this video, why not like, comment and subscribe? If you really liked it, and all the other videos I'm making, maybe consider contributing on Patreon.
Y'all be sure to go to Trash Theory and like and subscribe. I didn't know this about The Cure. Like I said, I don't really know about The Cure. Great band name. What is Wikipedia gonna tell me about them? Okay. They were formed in Crawley, West Sussex. Where's that? Show me your number. Where's that? Crawley. South of London. Okay. It looks like a quiet little town. Oh, wow. Beautiful. Beautiful. Very rural. Car. A flagpole. A checkpoint. Architecture. Tree. Grass. Town square. Grass. Parking lot. Harvester. Flowers. Art. An estate. Tree. Town square. Electric substation. A dam. Dike. A pond. Temple. A school? Tree. Poundland. Hey. Pond. Modern architecture. A field. It looks like a beautiful place to be. Crawley. Okay. The drummer's name was Lol. Lol Tallhurst. That sounds like a Spinal Tap name to me. They've had a lot of different members. Started as a trio. And what are they up to now? Oh, they just came out with a record called Songs of a Lost World. Let's check it out. It sounds gigantic. It's pretty modern sounding. The production kind of reminds me of Imagine Dragons with the big echoey drums. It is amazing how some bands are able to change their sound just enough to keep their fans on board, but also gain new fans, staying relevant, little bits of change. That's hard to do. I feel like they've done it. Way to go. Well, I'm interested to learn more about this particular album, Disintegration, in the next Cure video by Trash Theory. If y'all made it this far in the video, maybe give me a like and subscribe. I'd like to thank my patrons. I'd like to thank my Buy Me a Coffee folks. Thank y'all for watching this with me, and I'll see you next time. Later.